The left is now rationing life-saving therapeutics based on race, discriminating against and denigrating, just denigrating white people to determine who lives and who dies. If you're white, you don't get the vaccine, or if you're white, you don't get therapeutics. It's unbelievable to think this. And nobody wants this. Black people don't want it. White people don't want it. Nobody wants it. It's not even believable. You saw this a week ago where it came out. Nobody can even believe it. They don't even talk about it, and they don't want to talk about it because they know it doesn't work very well for them. But the Wall Street Journal described the practice race-based preferential COVID treatment. Said that's what it is. You get it based on race. In fact, in New York State, if you're white, you have to go to the back of the line to get medical help. Think of it. If you're white, you go right to the back of the line. This race-based medicine is not only anti-American, it's government tyranny in the truest sense of the word. The Supreme Court should intervene, shut down this flagrant civil rights violation immediately. Somebody has to get it to the court immediately.
The former president made a very bold claim about the medical industry racially prioritizing COVID-19 vaccines and therapeutics. I'm not so interested in making this as if I were speaking to the former president, so I'm making it as if I'm speaking to someone who believes this claim to be true. Prior to recording, I messaged quite a few people on Facebook who believed this claim to be true. I am using what I learned during those brief interactions to make predictions as to why most people believe this claim. The first thing I would want to do is clarify the claim. I might ask, what do you believe is happening in regards to therapeutics and vaccine distribution? How is this happening? They may say doctors or pharmacies are distributing the medical care based on race. Now that we have the claim clarified, I would now ask, what makes you believe this to be the case? There are two responses that I would expect. One being that Trump has never been wrong previously, and therefore he must be correct on this claim as well. There are two ways that this can be approached. I could ask how my interlocutor knows Trump has always been correct. We could talk about how we could know if Trump was correct in the past. However, I don't think this is the ideal approach. I think the best approach would be to examine the method as a whole. I could ask, can someone who is typically correct about information and/or predictions be incorrect on a particular claim? I think the obvious answer is yes. If they answer no, I would use a friend example. If my friend is always right about what they tell me, can they be incorrect about something they say to me today? The other response I would expect is that my interlocutor does not trust the medical industry, CDC, Democrats, government, or another entity. My first question after learning this to be the reason for their belief would be to ask if the entity is incorrect about every claim they make, or if some claims they make are true and some claims are false. If they say some claims are false and some are true, naturally, the next question is, how do we know which ones are true and which ones are false? This is where most of the conversations I have had abruptly ended. It is hard for me to even speculate on what the answer may be. If they say all claims are false, we would have to dig deeper into the specific claims. I would ask for some examples. I prefer if my interlocutor comes up with examples, but that isn't always possible. Let's say the entity that they do not trust is the CDC. The example I would provide is that the CDC claims condoms are 98% effective at preventing pregnancy if used correctly. I would ask if my interlocutor believed this claim to be true or false. I bet they likely would say it is true. I would ask them what makes them believe that it is true. Then we could compare the method they used for condoms versus the method they used for other claims made by the CDC. Regardless of which reason they have for their belief, I would like to ask them, is there another method to determine that minorities are being prioritized for COVID vaccines and medications? They may not have an answer, and that's okay. I would hope they would ask me if I had a method for determining the validity of the claim. If they did, I may say, observation. Is anyone complaining that they were denied a COVID vaccine? Have any lawsuits been filed because of this? That's pretty much my thoughts on this claim. These are the questions I would ask. If there are any other questions you would ask your interlocutor, feel free to drop a comment below. Or if there's anything else that you'd like to add, I'd like to hear from you. Thank you.